This video is powered by LearnToPlay.live, the only hardware synth performance course. Register now and enjoy 40% off.
This is my awesome Dawless AKM1 mixer. Nothing left to say, it's finally here, so that's going to be today's video. Are you ready for it? Let's go and do it right now. Hey, what's up, I'm Menlo Kitchen and thank you for checking out yet another video. Now, if this is your first time here, don't hesitate to click subscribe and hit that notification bell. Whenever I upload a new video, you'll be kept in the loop and you'll not miss out on anything. Stick around till the end of this video because I will tell you all about LearnToPlay.live. I think, and this is something I said like a long time ago, there is a gap in between what a studio mixer is and what a club mixer is. The studio mixer, you must have seen one when you get to a studio. That's that big console with all the faders, all the channel strips and everything. It's got different things, auxiliary sends for different EQs, insert points, obviously an extensive EQ, because if you are mixing a huge, say, track heavy project like an orchestra or a band, thinking back, if we go way back, like let's say for instance a big band or something like Earth, Wind and Fire. You're talking about maybe 10 brass, the brass section of 10 people, drums, which is like floor toms, kicks, everything, overheads. There's so much information. Obviously you spread that out on the mixing console and then get the levels right, balance stuff that you need to balance, overhead mics which pick up more than just the drums. You need to just like clean it up, and that's what you do on an extensive mixer. A DJ mixer, on the other hand, is much simpler in its nature because it just houses and holds basically packages of information, because on CDJs, on vinyl, it's already a stereo recording. So the fader, now one fader goes up for two channels, actually, the left and the right side, making up the stereo. And then on a studio type mixer, every stereo pair that you need to assign two channels or two tracks for that stereo sound, and then pan one to the left, pan one to the right. Obviously you have to do that yourself. There are mixers that have stereo faders on them, but the stereo faders tend to be like over on one side, and sometimes you just want to set yourself up in the way you work. For instance, I tend to spread out my kick drum separately from the stereo track as when my drums are coming from the octa track. Now, that would not make any sense if the stereo is all the way over on one side and then the kick drum is, you know, I like to have my kick drum sitting next to the stereo of the octa track, which is now 3 tracks because the kick drum is coming out mono. And if I was to connect that mono signal, say the kick drum, to one of the faders on a, say, DJM 900, for instance, a Pioneer mixer, or any other DJ mixer, it's gonna be a problem because mono signals don't go on stereo faders. Well, they do, but you will only hear the kick drum over on one side of the club, and that's not what you want. Now, there are mixers obviously that have a few mono faders on there. The Zone 96 has 2 channels that you can actually select to be either mono or stereo, but the rest of the 4 faders obviously are stereo. Now, what we've done is create a hybrid. So I spoke to Ferry and I said, Ferry, this needs to be a hybrid mixer because I don't want to solder any more cables that can connect my Minitar to a DJ setup. And the DJ mixer setup is the one that I like, free fader listening. So I get to fiddle around and not screw stuff up that you guys are thinking, what is he doing? You don't need to hear what I'm thinking of next. That's the beauty of playing records in a club. You don't hear a DJ cue up his records with the fader open. That's just unnerving. You want to be in the zone, and if the DJ selects the next track or the next moment, he can create a sense of mystery, and that is that story on the dance floor, which might sound as a cliche, but I think that that is one thing I'd like to add to the Dawless performing. If I've got an SH101, for instance, one of those synths that you really need to figure out how to just play a bass line, but you'll hear it. I want to do that on my headphone, pre-fade listening on, so I hear what I'm doing, the fader is done, and once I know that my sequence is running, I'll just add it and blend it in. So now I think that the DJ aspect of performing and the Dawless aspect of just being a performer, like drummers and saxophonists, and just the sheer live production, those are three things that I think this mixer is going to bring together. Now, a word on the EQ. I don't need the EQ to be surgical, like I said. Mixing Earth, Wind & Fire, the more stuff you stick on a recording, it's only going to be between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz, right? That's our hearing range as human beings. Meaning, you know, you can stuff all the stuff in there that you want, but you need to now start with very narrow bands, otherwise things are going to overlap and mask, and it's just going to sound horrible. But one thing people don't take into consideration is the fingerprint of different elements within the equipment that you're using. So yeah, I'm using a circuit tracks, I'm using a Octatrack, I'm using a Digitact, I'm using an MPC. All those boxes sound different. And I've seen it happen with my kitchen club nights, where I've invited so many different artists, but the thing with Dawless artists is they're musicians. We are musicians. Not many people are sound engineers. And the thing with Dawless producing is it's lovely, and that's what I do with Learn to Play Live as well. But you're now a performer, so you need to just like, don't look half-ass on stage. You now need to be a arranger, so you need to create a track, ideally on the fly, and you also need to make sure that it sounds well. So if all the tracks sounds different, because as a DJ just spinning from USBs or from vinyl, you pretty much get to set the tone, but there's not a lot that's going to happen. There's not going to be a record with the kick drum flying off into the right speaker or the left speaker. Everything's pretty much in that same ballpark. When you're doing a Dawless live setup, you get enthusiastic, you might overshoot, highs go, sometimes you hear that the sound changes. Now, if there was a mixer that could take care of that, I think we've nailed it. So what we've done, we made a dual concentric EQ setting with low. There's a rim on the outside where you dial in the frequency that you would like, and then there's a volume knob where you can do it, so you can pretty much steer the MPC a little in the direction of the Octatrack, and everything goes through nice transformers that make it just really, really fat and beefy, so that the sound works. So even if you're not like the greatest mixer in the world, it's pretty tactile, the way you can just like set the levels, and you know, when it's an analog mixer, it's great. Wow, wow. Oh, that's too much. You know? Not like something breaks down and sounds horrible. Now, this is early days, obviously. I'm just really touching the surface on it, and I would like to just introduce this mixer to you. Now, this is how I think it will work. I'm going to take it and test drive it at gigs. And yeah, if you see me smiling, that's because I'm very happy, because not only did it turn out better than I expected it for the prototype that I have right now, it also sounds like a brick wall, and that's exactly what it means. Now, I like to invite you to really don't listen to this stuff on your phone. You won't do it any justice. Do check it out and leave a comment in the section below. Now, without further ado, let's get our butts over there and let's make it work. Yeah. So welcome. Now, my setup is, pretty much the same as I had on for the last weeks, but we're going to focus over on this side. I'm going to just like zoom in on the mixer and make sure that you know what's going on. So for sake of you getting your bearings, the MPC1 is taking care of the MIDI for the Minitar, the Tetra, and the subsequent 37. So I've got 3 sound sources, 2 monophonic ones, well, I'm lying, 1 monophonic synthesizer, 1 paraphonic synthesizer, and at least 4 oscillator synth that can be used as a polyphonic synthesizer. That's what I'm using it for. So the Tetra, it can play 4 notes at the same time. So 1, 2, 4. That's cool. They go through various pedals. I've got the pedals connected through the synths directly. Next week I will line up and go over the cues on this mixer, of which you have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 cues, but we'll get to it. So now, how does this work? What I've done is, I have to say we, because I know a lot about the stuff, but I can obviously tell you that I've worked together with Ferry on this, and Ferry is my my go-to engineering guy who knows this kind of stuff. And we went over like, okay, what do you want? How do you want it? And it's been a really wicked ride. Now, I've got drums. The drums coming from the Octatrack here. So as I told you, one channel is coming out of here. Listen to that. So this is my kick drum. Nothing is engaged at the moment. As you can see, there's a crossfader here. There are a few knobs over here. There's a filter, which is this is my total filter segment. And this, I get to choose what band I would like to manipulate. Low pass, band pass, high pass. That's how we have set it up. And then this is going to be the filter, and I gauge it here. So as you can hear, and this goes for the whole mix. Then there is also the master EQ, the EQ that takes care of everything on the masters. This is the master section right here, with when this kick is playing. One, two, three auxiliary sends with returns. 1, 2, 3 here with gain, with EQ. This is the high end, low end, as you can hear. So, and then you can sweep through the frequency here, which is nice. And then of course you engage the master EQ here with a bass kill. Bam. So that's cool. So what have I done? I've got like the whole track playing. So let's just play it from the start. I've got, this is the Octatrack, just the Octatrack by itself, right? With a right cymbal, and I've got MIDI mapping going on for my drums over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks here. Track 8 that I can turn off, but I can turn off here. So that's nice. So this Fader Fox, which is a MIDI controller, does not make any sounds, just controls the levels here and a few things. So looking at the Octatrack, it's fairly simple. It's just the stereo output, which is this, with samples. And I can manipulate those drums here as well. The kick drum is coming out of a separate output. So I've got my kick drum sitting right here. So then this is what is coming out of the Octatrack. And then if the right cymbal starts to do my head in, I can turn it off here, obviously. Now, this is cool because I don't want to temper around with the different things. Let's take the kick drum out first and see what we can do with the Octatrack. I've got engage the EQ section for the highs and the mids, and engage the EQ for the lows. So as you can hear, there's no low end. Let's add some low end to this top loop that's playing. So you can hear that works. So imagine if you've got like the Octatrack sitting right here, you're not using a separate kick drum or an MPC or a digitone or whatever, and you start to build up a little bit of low end because of the samples you're using throughout the different machines. This comes in handy. So you can hear that it's now drowning out the kick drum, as you can hear. So let's listen to this. Easily you can find the sweet spot. The kick, there's nothing that I did with it yet, but I can engage it, take out a little bit of that. Without it, with it, without it. But I chose a great kick, and it just sits with a little bit of attack to it. You hear it? Now it's gone. So a little bit of that letter T, comes in with this. And then you can sweep through the frequency where you would like to have it. Then there's another thing. which I think is very important, which is the master EQ section. So if this is playing, then obviously you would like to engage an EQ maybe. This is the master EQ. Low, mids, and highs. With a bass kill. 1, 2, 3, in. This is your master. This is your booth monitor out, obviously, that I've got connected to the Zoom that's recording it up, but this goes into the room. Then there's a crossfader as well. So if I would like to say, like, I'd like to play around with making sure that if I'm doing something and I would like to just take my kick out and I don't want to temper with this, I can send one side of the one to this side, and then can engage the top loops over on the other side, which is really handy if you like to make a break later on. Now, a thing that we've not connected yet that we're working on still is the mutes and the solos that are coming here. You press one solo, it will stay in what you can just like now figure out on how you would like to do the structure of your track. So ideally you can have, in this case, 6 or 8 different sequences running, and then determine here how the structure of the song was going to be, rather than programming everything on the machines and playing a song that way, because I'd like to keep this live, right? Now, that's how we've done that. The sends, as I said, is like this: send 1 is send 1, send 2, send 3, so that's 3 auxiliary sends, and those are returns right here. Then, of course, we've got record level here because there's a booth monitor out for your room, and then there's a rec level out, which is what you can send right here if you want to record something. Here's a headphone 1 and headphone 2, obviously, that you can, like, because you can engage 2 headphones to it, and there's a microphone port on the front, and everything goes through Carnival transformers. So ideally you're looking at a 1073 style preamp as well, so it sounds really awesome, which you can hear with the low end here. So engaging the EQ is just by hitting this row of switches that they're all going through the EQ right now, and obviously turning them off, this will not do anything then. You take it on and off, which is cool. Now, that's that. The 2 channels right here have got different EQs, as you can see, because these are my turntable faders. I mean, there's 2 different styles of faders that you can choose from. One with a classic low, mid, and high. Again with gain, and with the 3 auxiliary sends, which you can engage as well. Also a switch that's going to come in here. And then obviously this really works with a nice phono preamplifier, and that will just go on there. Now let's see what else we have. Let's go over to maybe adding a bass line to this loop, right? On the 3rd fader, I've got the sub 37 sitting. So obviously, like I told you, a monophonic synth. Now I have done it differently because the sub 37 is going through the RE20, and then it goes in mono in the RE20, comes out stereo. But for sake of argument, now it's going straight to a pedal. Usually, I will not do it that way. I will just connect all the synths to the mixer, and then switch the mono switches on the back, and then just like get to choose from 3 different things. So now the RE20 is all that I can do with this synthesizer. If I would like to stick it through maybe the acid box, or maybe the digital delay, or maybe the blue sky, whatever, I now cannot do it. But with this mixer you can, because you can stick 3 things on there. There's also inserts per channel. So if you've got your favorite output gear that you think like, okay, I love that kick, but I'd like to really insert it with a compressor of my own, that's possible. And if you would like to do it on the different channels, you can. But if you would like to also insert it on the main master, say you've got like a nice, really nice compressor, RNC, like I know some members on the Discord have, you can just stick it on top of this mixer here, insert it in the main, on your main master, and just work it that way. Now let's play the track that we have and just like see what we can do when we engage EQ on the sub 37. Not that it needs it, but let's go for that. Kick drum and sub 37. take out the EQ on the kick. And there's no EQ engaged on both the kick and the sub 37. I will just place all my dials in the middle so that I know that I'm not going to add everything. The gain is, as you can hear now, I'm gaining up the sound right now. Let's engage the low end. Taking out low on the sub 37. And we're still going to tweak the EQ a little bit, I think, so that it can do a little bit more. But what I've done is, it's not supposed to be a surgical EQ. It's supposed to just like get a MPC to sit closer to a octatrack, to sit closer to a digitone, to a deluge or whatever. If you got different boxes, you encounter, if you've connected it to a regular mixer, you encounter differences in the sound. That's what we've seen with the Kitchen Club, that there's so many different mix downs and what have you. And in order to get a little bit closer and to get closer to what the DJ, how the DJ sounds, I think this is a one-stop answer for that. So let's get this bad boy in there, and let's also do the Minitar, because that's got a similar thing. So the same thing, let's engage a little bit of effect. And let's get it a little bit out of the way, right? Because now, if you listen carefully, you don't really hear the transient attacks of the sub 37, and I'd like to hear them. So I'll go in and say, there you go. So those attacks, focus on the attacks. Of course I can do it here if I wanted to, shape the sound, but sometimes I don't want to shape the sound here as I'm working my sound here. So nice. See? Without it? With it? It's subtle, but it makes a world of difference. Now let's do that same thing with the almighty Minitar, right? Let's see what we can do. So, putting the dial in the middle. You notice how if I'm engaging the EQ, it doesn't really do anything. So that's cool, that 0 means 0. Listen to what happens. And of course, the VU meters, I can see what I'm doing. Maybe some high end. Let's see if we can edit the sound on the Minitar a little bit. So there's a few oscillators here. 2. This is the sound before you edit it, but I've edited a little bit already. Obviously, it's 3 octaves. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't go any higher. That's how the sound works. So we want to lower this second oscillator that we can pitch. This one. That's the one that we can pitch down. Nice. And add in the first oscillator. Put a little bit of reso on there. Shorter. Sustain and release. Let's save the sound, which on the Minitar is holding glide and pressing release. You see it flash. So now we've got the sound embedded, so when we stop it and play it, you'll hear it. See? I put the filter down, and listen. So you see that I'll save the sound. Let's go back to the sub 37 and add that in. That's got a little bit of a glide on the sound. As you can hear, it ramps up and it ramps down. So both of those sounds need to be spread apart. I'm going to do that on the mixer as well. So without the EQs, You hear how it's all gone and muddy. When I add my drums, it's like, where is the sound? So, there you go. Now, there's another sound that I have, which is coming from the almighty Dave Smith Tetra. Oh, it resembles me, it makes me remember something. Oh, I'm only hearing it now. Okay, that sound is coming from the Tetra and going through this filter here. And out the Tetra into the Acid Box 3, out the Acid Box 3 onto this Hall of Fame here. Nice. How does this work with the kick drum? Nice. Cool. Yeah, we got it going. Cool. Let's add the Sub 37 into it. And add a little bit of reverb here. Reverb, filter of course. Cool. So there's your total mix, the total package. So, fairly simple. Going over it again, kick drum, stereo, and listen to how it sounds. It's absolutely awesome. I just hope you're listening to this on decent speakers. Now, that's pretty much my idea. More to come in the coming weeks as we're going to explore more and find out more, and obviously I will let you know about more specifications, but it's here. The beginnings are here. So this is my awesome Dawless AKM1 mixer. Tell by my face that I'm happy. I mean, this has been like more than 3 years in the making. I mean, you can debate, it's easy to make a analog mixer because obviously it's not a new concept, but in order for it to work and to be foolproof, because I don't think that everybody is, you know, a lot of people are musicians, but not a lot of people are sound engineers, and I'm not even saying that I'm a sound engineer, but you know, I do think that I've got a pretty great idea on where I want my sound to sit within a room after 35 something years of playing in clubs and club sound systems and whatever. It's just one sound that works, and it does it in a way that it's very important. Now, if you want to learn all this kind of stuff, check out learntoplay.live, because we teach you on to develop your ears and to listen to different things and to find the differences between the different machines. Because if everything sounds the same, there would only be like one machine, wouldn't there? But everything's different and everybody interprets the technology different, but that's not really cool if you are trying to figure out what to work. So it might be a bit of an investment to just do this 32-week course, but yeah, what you invest in yourself on the course is what you save in buying gear that you're not going to use in the end of the day. So yeah, it's going to be a one-stop shop, and I'm not by my lonesome. No, I've got like friends helping out. We're talking about immersive audio and Dolby Atmos with Atibao being one of your teachers. We're talking to DJ Pierre being one of your teachers, Trovarsi being one of your teachers. We've got Enrico Dalla Vasana from AKM Multimedia being one of your teachers and your label manager, mind you, because obviously working this course and learning your things and getting into it, you even make a concise chance, if you grasp it and it works, to get your own vinyl release. So the top 3 of the class will get a vinyl release, and the next 3 runners-up will just do an extensive remix, and everybody will be working on different things. But in the end of the day, I think market conformity is cool. It's cool to just join a course, but what are you going to do with it? What are you going to take away from it? How does it work? How can you know, put stuff into practice? So it doesn't really mean, it doesn't even matter what type of equipment you have. It's more of a, if you want to make acid, then this would be the stuff that could work, and these are the frequencies you need to listen for, and this is how you should work it, this is how you should do it. You know what, let's go to the horse's mouth and talk to DJ Pierre, because you know, I can tell you all about acid, but better he tells you than me. Same goes for house music. Who else to ask than Joe Smooth, for instance? You know what I'm saying? So we really gone out of our way to get like the people involved that were there from day one to tell you how it works, and also look at business type contracts and everything. That course is a be-all and end-all in terms of your presence as an artist and how you should, you know, walk that beat. Okay, if you want to just get closer directly, because the course starts in September, if you want to get closer to me directly, that's possible. I think your shortcut could be patreon.com/analogkitchen. That steers you into Discord, and Discord is absolutely amazing, because that's where the whole community started. That's where the whole idea for Learn to Play Live, the whole idea for the mixer, everything just basically started there. And the cats that are there, I'd like to say thank you to Brian, I'd like to say thank you to Lemmy, to Tough Chunks, to Master D. I'd like to say also thank you to Caesar, to Doming. I'd like to say thank you to Sprite. I'd like to say thank you, because I keep forgetting people. Did I mention Tough Chunks already? I think I did. There's so many people actually that helped me out with just, you know, picking my brain, or just downright saying no, that doesn't matter, it doesn't work, or whatever. You know, that community is cool. You can just throw your demos in there, you can play your stuff, so many things that you can do within a respectable community where you get to develop your own skill set, which I think is very, very, very important. Now, I think that's about it, you know what I mean? Next week I'm going to go deeper into the mixer, and I'm going to see if I can get Ferry to also say something. Now, if somebody really hates cameras and wants to be in the limelight and wants to be like in the back, it's Ferry. So that's also the reason why we never saw pictures or the development stage. The guy wants to build, he hates filming everything. He just doesn't want to do it, gets very mad. And that's cool. So he's made an absolutely amazing mixer. This is our prototype, obviously, so there's a few things that we're going to do, but this is it. This is going to be it. You know, there's a few things that we might want to do on version 2, but for now, I think we nailed it. And I didn't really talk about the sound quality, but you know, that's something you just need to hear. So I think you're already hearing what it sounds like. Now, if you're still here, thank you for watching. You, sir or ma'am, are an absolute superstar. My name is Analog Kitchen, no matter what the auto subtitles are telling you. Analog Kitchen, that's me. And yeah, just keep watching this space. Next week I'm going to be here with another video, but for now I'd like to say stay analog, stay Dawless, and I'll catch you on the rebound. Peace. I'm out.